I was bullied as a kid and gaslighted when everyone sided with the bully. Now I'm not going to be the maid of honor for my sister's wedding because she's marrying my bully. Am I the asshole? Yeah, pretty much the title. This will be long because while God in her wisdom plagued me with empathy to the tits and a hell of a good ass, she forgot to bless me with brevity. I lurk on subs like this all the time and see comments to long posts lamenting their wizened minds, having spent actual whole minutes voluntarily reading a long post, longing for those moments back. So here's your warning. Don't be a twatwaffle. Pass over me if you've not the time or desire to hear my tale of woe. I will rant. As you might notice, I'm the snarky one. I've 4 older brothers and 1 twin sister, Violet. She and I are both F31. We were an oops baby, and then the WTF babies. When mom found out, her oops came with a spare. For all intents and purposes, I am the spare. My parents did want a girl. They wanted a girl. Big difference. Mom tells the story often that Violet came out quite easily, hardly any labor, but Lily was trouble the moment she was born. So over time I just was like, fuck it. I'm the trouble? Then I aim to misbehave. We're not identical, and Violet is absolutely beautiful, feminine, bright and bubbly. She's goddamn Jean Grey of the X-Men, practically. I'm more of Rogue. Not the classic one, more like that cartoon reboot from the 2000s when they made them all teens, and Rogue was standoffish, self-sabotaging, and goth. I'm only goth on Tuesdays, but I did have a streak of time where I self-sabotaged. Teen years were a bitch, am I right? And when you're the least favorite girl of 6 kids, 8 if you count the dogs, your self-esteem tends to tank. Violet was the first at everything, first to walk, talk, all that shit, according to my parents, but then she became the first to date, the first to get awards, do a show. And hey, it's because she's kick-ass. My sister is the most brilliant woman I know, after my mom. I'm not kidding when I say I look up to her a lot. She's almost effortlessly everything people like, and I was always just a little ray of shitshine. I guess I am the first of us too on a few things. First to get diagnoses with a learning disability, and first to get arrested. I am actually sort of proud of that one, but we're not here to talk about that, lol. The first in the family to get what dad called a stress stutter. I do have a mild stutter, but I can manage fine unless under a lot of duress, so hey, she's not the best at everything, right? We were really close, and I didn't really notice us drifting apart truly until high school, and by then, I had my own problems. One being fucking Daniel Swift, fake name. This sloppy knob was always picking on me. He and his crew made school and community events absolute hell for me since grade school. When we were young, most adults said that it was because he liked me. But by the end of middle school, it was real clear the dude hated my guts. He always compared me to my sister and had to point out how inferior I was. Even when we were small, he would be so confused as to if we are twins. Why is one of you pretty, and the other isn't? By middle school he had a name for me. It's to do with my IRL name, so let's say for this, it's Lumpy Lily. Just a name to remind me that I was fat. Looking back, I know I wasn't. Puberty hit me fast and hard, and boom, baby got back. He was relentless, and his friends were too. I told on him once, because a teacher found me crying as I was forcing myself to throw up in the bathroom during practice. I don't know how, but he managed to turn it around on me, saying I was bullying him and his friends vouched for him, so I got suspended from the team during the season and had to write an apology letter in detention. He once slapped me and I went to tell, but he denied it, saying I punched him in the stomach and he turned on Waterworks, and his friends said they saw me hit him and call him a loser. My parents were so upset with me, and my dad had to leave work to pick me up. He didn't believe me at all that I didn't do these things. He would rant that I'm not the only kid and I need to stop being so much trouble. So I shut down, kept my head down, and didn't bother to say anything. He called me the defective one, the spare, the botched clone, everything he could think of. Some were admittably clever, but all were cruel. When Daniel picked on me, I would ignore him, and if I couldn't, I just endured it. Senior year he wasn't around much, and I heard his mom died. It was the first year I was without his constant teasing, and it was the best year of my life. I feel terrible, but I was so glad he wasn't there, even if it was because of something so awful I myself could never imagine enduring, the loss of a mom. I got into some hobbies, even made a good friend, Sunny, now F31. Well, you made it past the prologue, good work, so here's the actual issue. Fast forward to now. I live a state over and have my main job as an educator. I love what I do. It feels good most of the time, but hey, this ain't Disney. Sometimes being teacher sucks raw rotten eggs in the summer heat, to be sure. But I get to be the adult I wish I had in the room when I was young. Sunny lives a city over from me, which in all honesty is a mere 20-minute drive in traffic. So we see each other often. She's easily my best friend. Violet and I are still close, and same with my brothers, but we're all 30 plus now, some with kids and spouses and full-ass lives, so we don't talk much. Violet and I would have calls and sometimes FaceTimes. My sister is incredible. She became a nurse but quickly realized she wanted to be a nurse practitioner, and now she is out there helping people in need by donating most of her time outside of work at the shelter in our hometown. She looks after our parents and makes sure they have all they need. She owns a house, has an Etsy business, a blog, hell, a TikTok. She's kicking ass, and I couldn't be prouder. Last year she was all excited because she thought she found the one. She called him James. Every picture of him, he's this big ex-military dude with tats and a beard and those douchey big sunglasses some guys never take off to save their lives. You know the ones. No shade if you do that too, but if you also own a truck as well and have a "come and take it" sticker on it. A teensy bit of shade. 'Cause James did. What? You think I wasn't going to cyberstalk my only sister's the one? The fuck outta here. I stalked the shit out of him, but he had no socials other than a LinkedIn. Former Marine, then contracted himself out before owning his own full-time business consulting. I was happy for my sister because she really was the woman who had everything, but what she wanted was to fall in love and have that chicken flick romance when you kiss and your leg pops, and get married, have babies, ride off into the sunset, get kissed in the rain and all that sappy crap. I get it. And my sleuthing came up with nothing to naysay James, and I wasn't going to yuck her yum on her taste in dudes, because my bias of living in a state with dude brothers who love their trucks and shades more than life itself. Fuck it, she's happy. So this past Easter rolled around and I was talking with Vi about how excited I was to be around her and the boys, and she mentioned that she was bringing James. I don't remember what I said, but I said something about being excited to finally meet this guy since Dad and our eldest brother already have, and said he's a stand-up dude. She got quiet and kinda had the tone like yeah about that, so I paused to ask what was wrong. She said she needed to talk to me because James is my old crush from school. I was confused, because while I was close with my siblings, I never talked about crushes with most of them, and definitely not Violet. It just wasn't what we talked about. I said I don't remember crushing on a James. And that's when she said that he went by his middle name Daniel in school. Now, Daniel's IRL name is pretty common, so I was like, well, I don't remember a Daniel I crushed on, but which one do you mean? And we narrowed it down to that soggy twatsicle. There wasn't much to say after that other than I never had a crush on him. She was relieved to hear that. She said she actually didn't realize James and Daniel were one and the same herself until he brought it up on like the fourth date or something, and then she felt bad, but by then she was already developing feelings and couldn't bear the thought of hurting me nor waking away from her chance at love. I decided to tell her a bit at Easter, and I did pull her aside before he arrived as we all stay the night before over the parents' house. I told her most of what I've now told you. This guy made my life hell. Violet was devastated and she kept saying, "You're sure it's him?" And that was years ago. Maybe you've got it wrong, to the point that I got frustrated and sort of gave up. Easter was tense, but Daniel did say hi to me like, "Long time no see. Remember me?" And I just said, "Oh, I do," and kept my distance. From then on it was a dance. Mother's Day, Father's Day, Mom and Dad's anniversary, a brother's birthday, you get it, good old Daniel is around. By this point, I've told two of my brothers some of what's happening because they had scolded me for being standoffish around him, and they assumed I was pissy about Daniel taking my only sister. Once they knew though, they weren't happy. We all got together again for Juneteenth, and of course Dandy Daniel was there, but this time, I had a ring. My mother screamed with excitement, whooping through the restaurant telling any and everyone her baby girl is getting married. When the parents went home, us siblings bar hopped the main street in the city to catch parts of the parade. Vi pulled me aside and inquired why I was avoiding her, and I just said I am happy for her. If he makes her happy, she's my sister and I would die for her. It's just complicated that he's my bully from school and I don't want to be around him. She got quiet and said, well, thank goodness the bridesmaids and the groomsmen won't be interacting a lot, and as MOH I would have minimal contact with him on the actual day. Then she started talking dresses, and I stopped her. I don't think I can be maid of honor. I don't feel comfortable in the same space as this person. MOH usually is a big job and interacts a lot with the couple. She shot back that well after he will be her husband, so? Am I to avoid him the rest of our natural lives? How? When they have kids? How do I plan to pull that off? She broke down saying I am ruining everything for my misconceptions about him and making it out that she has to choose between her love and her sister, and it's not fair. I said, whoa, hold on, what misconceptions? That he bullied me? Violet went off. Okay, I tried not to bring this up because I didn't want an argument, but you bullied him, remember? And she went on to say she confronted him about my allegations, and he explained that she had it wrong way round. Even now in our 30s he can't admit to pushing me, hitting me, calling me every name he could come up with, and worse, she was hoovering his bullshit like a buffet. I lost it. I told her before, I told her each time again and again that I didn't do those things. He always spun it around on me, and his friends would lie so it would be my word against theirs, and no one ever believed me except once when he was caught on camera, and then it was made as retaliation by my bullying of him. She huffed. Okay, then what if he apologizes to you for bullying, using air quotes? Maybe it was the sangria, but I just laughed and said, you know what? Fine. You don't have to believe me. It doesn't matter now anyway. But I can't be MOH. She cried, and our brothers came to keep the peace, but I was done with it. When my dad dropped me off at the airport later that day, he said that he hopes I think this through, and if my perception of things is more important than family, that's my choice, but when he and mom are gone, all we will have is each other, and this squabble is too much. He asked me to please not make trouble over this. I kissed him goodbye and took my damn flight. Now my sister is still in the group chat acting like I am MOH. My older brother is nudging me to just get over myself and not stress Violet out. Then this morning I am added to a new chat with a few folks and my sister. She texted us as the wedding party and listed me as the MOH. I wanted to call her to remove this, but now I am second guessing. I am happy to attend, hell, I will bartend, sing, give a speech, anything, but I just don't want to stand up there as if I am on board with this. Maybe he's changed, and that's swell. But it took years of therapy, lots of love from my friends, an intense amount of support groups, and so much effort to get to the somewhat normal I have. I don't purge anymore, I don't cut anymore, I actually communicate with my partner and my friends. It took so much to get over all that fucking hurt. And when I'm with my family, I'm labeled as trouble, despite years of not asking for anything, not wanting to rock the boat with them. It feels like I can't be myself back home now, and it sucks, but this extra layer, Daniel, I can't just plaster a fake smile on grin and bear this like I did other things for so many years. I'm already the oddball, which hey someone's gotta be, and I moved state to avoid being judged on what scraps I managed to scramble up to make my messy, weird, awesome, amazing life. But I feel like I am up against the wall. So maybe I am just a selfish little kitten scratching at anyone trying to love me. But there it is. Am I the asshole? Edit, what in the spaceballs is going on? I fell asleep and woke up to over 1,000 notifications. The fuck? I really tried to read all the comments, but it's not even 730 here, and baby needs her coffee, and I have an international D&D session today. I DM part-time, so I will try start replying after that, but some themes I want to address here as I can, blurry-eyed as I might be. My favorite comment of all time thus far that I've read is claiming my story is fake, nothing special there. Comments like that and trolls are a dime a dozen, but theory was that I use English turns of phrases but clearly based in the USA. Congrats. You wanted to catch me out, but the explanation is really far more simple than I think you're wanting. Dad is not born here. He's African by descent but raised across the pond and met Mom and never left and had us. Sorry, it's not as interesting as you wanted. LOL. I guess I will have to name the brothers for this to not get too confusing. I was afraid of that. Here we go. In order of birth, my siblings are John, M42, Jacob, M40, Jonas, M37, Jeremy, M35, and of course Violet, and then myself, Lily, F31. John is the brother leaning on me about sulking it up and just going to the wedding, but that's no big shock as he and my father are usually quite aligned. Very stereotypical eldest child syndrome. Anyway, Dad was the hands-on parent most of the time when Violet and I were younger, because Mom works a job that requires a lot of travel. So he essentially is the boots on the ground with 6 kids. Please be gentle about it. He may not be perfect, but he had a lot on his plate and he does his best. By the time Mom would talk to me about getting in trouble at school, I was already shut down and just wouldn't answer her. She had me go to therapy, but I wouldn't talk to the therapist either. So she put me in lots of extracurriculars, I think in her own way, because she didn't get my side of the story and could get the proverbial blood from a rock. She hoped to keep me busy and well-rounded to keep me out of trouble. Like I said, 6 kids to manage is a lot. Probably why I don't want kids at the moment, to be honest. After I posted, Jeremy called me to ask if I was alright, and I got a little overwhelmed. I didn't cry, but I think he could hear the stress in my voice. I told him everything about Daniel, and now he's really upset. I know he's already said something to Jonas, because he's been texting me to check up on me and to ask about what's going on. As for why my own twin didn't know about my bullying, since we would be in the same classes, we weren't. We were in separate homerooms because we had a lot of unhealthy attachment to one another when we were little, so administration made the call to keep us separate. Plus, I mentioned I have a slight stutter. It was a real problem at school, because I was an anxious one. I was pulled for speech therapy, and the like a lot. All that to say, at school I saw my sister in passing maybe, but not a lot, and by high school we frankly just ran in different circle. You are watching Redditor 94. Only the best makes it this far. Leave a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And for more stories visit Redditor 94. Update 1. I just wanted to start by saying thanks to everyone who gave kind or even some unkind advice. It's actually heartening and heartbreaking to know so many of you have gone through this sort of stuff. But okay, holy moly righteous cannoli, what the fuck. When Sunny suggested I lost here, I figured I would get a couple comments, but this went crazy. There were so many comments. I'm so sorry if I didn't reply, unless you were a twat waffle, get therapy. But there were literally hundreds, which as you might imagine, is an overwhelming number. To anyone complaining I didn't respond, I mean, sorry, but I do have a life and stuff to do away from this app. It's been barely a day, and I have side gigs. So let me cover some bases I saw a lot in the comments. NC isn't really a first option for me, my family isn't perfect, but they're my family. LC would be hard, but far more of an option. I've already moved out of my home state and have my family on an information diet concerning a lot of my day-to-day life, and that worked mostly until now. I respect that some of you are autonomous enough that you can go and see, but I'm not like you, I guess. We're a large family, and both parents come from large families. It's just too much admin, and I would be miserable. I love my family, and I can't just shut that off. Some comments suggested Daniel is obsessed with either me or my sister, or both, and that is too much for my brain to take in. The effort that would take is frankly a lot. My hometown is not a town at all, but a city, and a populated one. After graduation, a lot of us lost touch with one another unless we gave an effort to keep ties. Others have said that he might hurt my sister, and I will only say this, he better fucking not. Some of you sent links of what is supposed to be his side, but it's literally labeled a shitpost, and Sunny traced it to some group making fun of me. Nice to know Daniel isn't alone on being a bully. Weird read but funny, so thanks for sharing it. And finally, I am in therapy. I've been consistently in therapy since leaving home. I was messed up a lot in the soul and the head when I left, and it took a lot of time, effort, and coping mechanisms to help me sort myself out. I'm no Disney princess, but I am proud of who I am now. And let's get to it. So in order of birth, my siblings are John, M42, Jacob, M40, Jonas, M37, Jeremy, M35, and of course Violet, and then myself Lily, F31. Mom will be Mom, F63, Dad will be Dad, M67. I don't know how relevant it is, but Dad is the stepfather, technically for John. Dunno how relevant that is, but whatever. John is the brother leaning on me about sucking it up and just going to the wedding. My 3 other brothers have now heard my side of things since my last post. This morning I got a call from Mom. She and usually text, so a call is serious. I paused my virtual D&D game and got everyone on an early break. Mom skipped the usual "how are you" BS and just went for, "Lillian, I need the truth from you. What's going on with you and this man?" So I told her the truth. He bullied me, I never lied about it. I only ever hit him once when we were kids, to get him away from me. His friends lied and backed him up when he would blame things on me. I didn't have time to give her all the details, but I told her the Cliff Note version. But I knew one of my brothers snitched and suspect Jeremy, and I had no way to know what she knows, so I outlined it all. She just asked me if my sister knew, and I told her what happened Juneteenth. She asked me why I didn't say anything, but everyone in my D&D group came back on, so we couldn't talk more, and told her I would text her once I was free. After D&D, I texted her and she called again, we talked more, she got upset. Why didn't I say anything? Why did I push her away? She wanted to know the whens, the wheres, the whos. And I just said dunno, I just didn't want more trouble, and I could hear her either scoff or sib, not sure. She said, "I'm sorry baby." And then asked if I had time tonight to talk more, but I will be honest, this second round telling my mom these things emotionally drained me, so I said I am free tomorrow but going to see a movie tonight with friends. She understood. I texted Sunny as we have plans today, and she mentioned to me that my brother Jeremy had reached out to her asking all sort of questions and that we can talk more tonight, but to be warned that my family is asking questions and she suspects sooner or later, my sister will have words for me. Dunno what that means, but we'll enjoy girls' night nonetheless. I don't know what will happen, just that I will fight for my family and love them as hard as I can. But I won't be yielding on this boundary. I love my sister, but the amount of my peace damaged by being near Daniel and dealing with issues he has brought into my life and that of my family, is too much for me to fake through. A commenter suggests I be more bold about my dislike of him, but I don't want to be that sister. What I think I will do is be more matter-of-fact about it. Maybe that will make me the asshole, and I'm okay with be branded as bitter, or jealous, or whatever. I'm just tired and overwhelmed now, and it's now bleeding into my everyday life and interactions with my circle here where I live, and I even thought about cutting again. I don't want to be like that, and I refuse to go backwards. I don't know how to end these posts, so I will end this one with a quote I like and update if anything happens later. It matters not what someone is born, but what they grow up to be. Update 2. I think my father just disowned me. I really love my family and was raised to view family as everything, the people who hold above all others, the people you fight for and who will fight for you, the people you sacrifice for as they sacrifice for you, the people you trust the most. In my previous posts, I outlined the whole situation with my sister getting engaged to a guy who relentlessly bullied me in my school days and frankly made life unbearable, and my sister has been all but demanding I be the MOH. I won't blame him outright for my mental health issues entirely, but I would never say he didn't have a hand in me developing an eating disorder, a desire for cutting, and other damaging issues. I am in therapy now, and have been since I moved out of my childhood home. My sister doesn't believe he bullied me, it seems, and instead believes it's the other way around. That I bullied him. My father also believes this. On my life, that isn't even a little bit true. He would torment me and had vicious nicknames to call me, elaborate insults, and spread horrid rumors about me. I avoided him because if I told, he would get his friends to back him up when he would tell any and every adult who questioned him that I would bully him. He pushes me? He would tell the teacher I punched him in the gut. Once he actually got caught because there were cameras and lo and behold, the narrative shifted into he had had enough of my bullying, so he retaliated, and all of this was just him trying to defend himself. So I would again be reprimanded or punished because poor Daniel had it so hard, and I shouldn't be mean to a kid who has a sick mother at home and a hard-working father. I just learned to keep my head down and shut up. Recently my mother asked me for the truth of what our history was, and I told her. I told her everything. I was emotional, but also felt like there was this wall I couldn't get past. It was hard to drag the words out of my mouth on one hand, and on the other it felt like floodgates had been opened and I couldn't shut up. My mom listened to me and was getting upset to hear about all this as she didn't know. After my dad blamed me and didn't believe me the first time, things got really bad. I stopped talking about it and for a time stopped talking period, so I never told my mom even when she had asked since she was out of town for work at the time. She said she was sorry, and I believe she really meant it. I was so spent and mentally and spiritually drained, and my depression came back full force. I vomited and couldn't get any sleep, and my best friend stayed up most of the night with me because I said that the self-harming thoughts were surfacing again and I didn't want to be alone. It just all brought me back to being that kid no one believed and that no one took the time to care about, that isolated quiet kid who used self-harm to feel any sort of control or feeling other than this damn pit of loneliness. That kid who when I got essayed in college, not by Daniel, I didn't even bother to report it or tell my family, because I simply never expected to be believed. I believed so deeply that I would just be blamed. That's a lot of word vomit, sorry for the rant. After my talk with Mom yesterday, and the night from hell Sunny witnesses me go through, Sunny cancelled all her plans and made an elaborate itinerary to keep me busy and distract me from being sucked into my thoughts today. She's a good one, I know. We started off having a lot of fun. We went to live music and brunch, got tickets for a movie later today, hit the museums in the city, and enjoyed mimosas. I almost forgot about my shitty situation for a while. We were at lunch when my dad happened. I guess my mom talked to him about everything. He had called 3 times but I just texted, sorry really busy at the moment. I will call back tonight. Everything okay? And it devolved from there. I changed some info for privacy. Dad, okay? No, it's not okay. You've upset your mother. Again. You will call back now. Me, how did I upset her? She didn't tell me. And like I said, I'm busy, but we'll call back when I can tonight. Dad, you need to fix this. Take responsibility for yourself. Me, I don't know what you mean. Dad, you do. Don't play cheeky. Me, Dad, please just be plain. What is it you want? Dad, you need to call your mother and stop blaming me for your being a difficult child. You threw me under one fuck of a bus. Take responsibility for yourself and stop causing trouble. Me, I never blamed you for anything, so what do you want me to take responsibility for? Dad, oh, so you're playing this game, okay, cute. Me, I don't know what you mean by game. I don't know what bus I threw you under. I don't know what you want me to say to Mom. I don't know why you're acting this way. Why won't you just be plain and tell me what you want? I never meant to cause any drama. Dad, I talked to your sister. I know you've been trying to rewrite history and be trouble for Daniel. He's been really trying to build bridges with you, and you're trying to make him out as a bad guy. That's not fair to him or your sister. I tried to stay out of this, but now you're lying to your mother. You need to tell the truth. Me, okay, Dad. Want the truth? The truth is, he bullied me. I avoid him because of that. Dad, you're embarrassing yourself. Me, the truth is also that you never once believed me and never gave me the benefit of any doubt. Mom asked for the truth and I told her. Dad, Lillian, stop it. This tale you tell yourself wasn't cute then, and it's not now. You're an adult. This childish tantrum you're having is so immature. It's embarrassing. It's hurting the entire family, and your selfishness, when Daniel has tried to mend things, is nasty. You were raised better. I'm so deeply disappointed in you. I didn't reply to that, mostly because I had started crying. A lot. And we were in public. So Sunny got me in the car and let me sob. She said my dad is a royal bastard, not her exact words, but I think her exact words go against guidelines or something. I argued with her that he had 6 kids, a full-time job, and a full plate, and I was the least of my siblings. He's doing his best with what he has. She got angry with me and just yelled bullfucking shit and took my phone and replied to my dad in a group chat with her number. Hi Mr. Gardner. This is Sunny Willows. And just in case you try to twist this, feel free to reply to my number. Lily is telling the truth. I know, because I was there and saw some of it firsthand. Am I a liar too? Why don't you give me a call and I will lay it out for you, and you can call me a liar directly. I saw Daniel or James or whatever his name is now, slap her, throw things at her, curse her out. She then took screenshots of the whole thing. About an hour ago, my mother sent in the family group chat to please clear our plans for a set time in a few hours, as we need to video chat ASAP, and when I looked, Sunny's instincts were correct because Dad deleted his texts I transcribed above and just said, "Don't you worry. I won't be speaking to you about this anymore. Talk to your mother about it. I'm done." I got upset and tried to call, and he answered with asking me if I am calling about Daniel, and I said no, I just hate that I've upset him, but swore to God it was the truth. He said, "Then you've lied to me." And basically said, if what I am saying is true, then I've lied by omission all this time, and now trying to paint him as the villain. So, he's over it. If he's such a bad father, he won't bother to father me anymore then, since clearly that's what is best for me. Then he hung up. I've been a wreck since. I told Sunny, who heard my side of the conversation as it was happening. She called him a manipulative little bitch and said she wants to be there for this family video call. I'm glad she'll be there, as I don't know what's going to happen, but I know I can't face it alone. I think he just basically disowned me. I know that's not exactly what he said, but how the hell else am I supposed to take it? I'm so nervous, I haven't been able to keep anything down. Sorry for the rant, I know this is all over the place. I think I'm just typing this to get it out of my brain for a moment. I just want my family back. I want my daddy back. I want my sister back. And it feels like this godforsaken fuckbomb of a call is going to see my family fractured for good, and it's all my fault, all because I couldn't fucking just grow a pair and fake my way through being MOH in some dumb wedding. Edit, we had the call last night and it went as one would expect, I guess.